Part 3, introducing game number 2 for day 2. Starting off with your Race City Rebels, number 12 Razor, 123 Diamond, 17 Shaggy, 18 Flipper, 22 It's a Trap, 31 Floppy Joe, 33 KID, 34 Grimace, 55 Blint, 57 Rowdy, 70 Doc Flatliner, 77 Roller Coaster, or Roller Coaster. 81 Steph, 813 True Blocka, and 84 Wham Bam.
And we've got the Carolina Wrecking Balls. Number 0, Cambo. 108, Nightshade. 112, Yeti. 13, Brick House. 16, Betty Ford Cynic. 1633, T-Puff. 18, Torrid New One. 33, Shyamouth. 35, Old Dirty Packer. 350, Roxy Rampage. 400, Brickyard. 5050, Tiny Danger. 667, Billy Goat. And number 87, Black and Wild.
All right, jam number way, one underway. Razor jamming for the Race City Rebels and Black and Wild for Carolina. Black and Wild is your lead jammer to start off our first jam. Back of the pack on the scoring pass. Razor holding the star, working, trying to get past this tripod. Checked out of bounds, but blocking to the back there. So Carolina losing their pivot off the bat. Black and Wild got one scoring pass down, starting a second. Steps to the inside, cuts way out the inside of turn 3. With Razor on the scoring pass, going to call it off. Quick little 8-0 advantage in the first minute.
Jamming now for Carolina, we've got Yeti up against Floppy Joe for Race City.
Yeti being brought back to the jam line. Meanwhile, Floppy Joe skates through in the outside lane, coming away lead jammer.
All right, looks like
Carolina having passed the star off to the pivot, but a legal pass apparently, and pivot handing it back.
Yeah, look, you don't see that all that often. I like it.
I'm guessing that was an illegal pass, and they passed it back to make it legal, and then just kept it anyways. I don't know. It's so many things happening. I'm glad I'm not a ref. No takebacks.
No take backsies.
Oh, with that jam, Race City able to get on the board 4, and Carolina with the 4-point lead. We got Blint jamming for Race City, Brickyard for Carolina. And Brickyard passing it off.
All right, so it looks like that was a star pass on the Carolina side, meaning Blint got lead jammer, but was out behind the new Carolina jammer, so they did call off that jam.
Speaking of rarities, when do you see a star pass on the initial pass with no lead jammer? That's pretty rare too.
That was a bold move.
I think somebody's got strategies lined up. Black and Wild off the races on the outside lane.
That's some pretty footwork there.
Razor got a couple blockers get past. Black and Wild jumps the apex in the inside of turn two. Razor tries to hang on with those toe stops, gets checked out, coming recycling behind turn two. Black and Wild trying to take an inside lane, gets checked out. A little deja vu. And then Black and Wild go for the inside lane, goes to the jump, lands it, picks up 4. 2 scoring passes for Carolina so far this jam. Black and Wild cuts the outside, goes for a jump, checked out. And it looks like Razor passed the star off to Diamond, pivoting for Race City. Black and Wild gets caught on a track cut, and Race City gonna have a power jam here. Diamond picking up 4. Second score pass starting.
Some nice work there by Race, blocking, containing a point there for Diamond in the back. However, they are forced to reset. Oh.
I think I saw a chicken wing on that one. Or no, a directional. .25 left in the jam clock. Full 2-minute jam.
Smart of Diamond, taking a second to just reset, get the hat back on, make sure we're not drawing any penalties.
Diamond sheds the pivot cover, making sure it doesn't interfere with getting those points. Gets through the pack, picks up another scoring pass. Tie game at the second.
That is a tied game.
Tie jam.
Oh, tied jam. Excuse
And now with Carolina with a 4-point lead. I'm like, how that was starting already. Already exciting.
4-3 pack advantage going to Race City now on the start, but that Carolina pivot is standing in the box. We've got Floppy Joe jamming for Race. Yeti wearing the star for Carolina.
Most jammers getting checked back to turn 4. Floppy Joe working the inside lane. One blocker to get past. They're recycling around him. Checking him back now. Going to recycle. Yeti working toe stops up the front. Gets checked out. Going to be brought back behind the jam line. Some offensive assistance, but not able to get Floppy Joe through. Yeti's checked out of turn 1. Floppy going through a toe stop hop through the apex. Checked out of the outside of turn 1. Yeti checked out of the inside of turn 1. Minute passed, no lead jammer yet. Yeti's up front, one to get, he's out. Lead jammer for Carolina. Floppy Joe passing the star off. And Yeti going to call it off. Doc Flatliner, the pivot for Race City, accepting the star of that last jam. And Carolina coming away with only 4 of that jam. That was a lot of work for 4 points, but extending their lead by 8. I think we got Blintz in green on the jam line. Brickyard in black. Blintz, lead jammer. Brickyard's checked out the near straightaway. Moves to the outside lane. Blint on a scoring pass. Gets checked back to the jammer line. Blint finds an inside lane. Comes away with 4. Brickyard checked out hard on the inside of turn 1, coming back to the near straightaway. Blint cuts the outside down. Bean dips outside of turn 1. And we've got some jammer on jammer defense happening.
Looks like Blint's going to try to slow down.
Blint's trying to get the pack to swallow him.
See if we can run down that clock,
Dirty
clear
Packer.
out those race blockers from the box. So far, doing a pretty good job of it.
Three-point signal for Carolina, 1 point signal for Race City, that last pass. A little conferring by our refs over there. So 2 scoring laps plus 1 for Race City and a 3-point scoring lap for Carolina. That jam, 20:29 to go on the clock. And the pack's lined up on the pivot line, the top sports pivot line. Black and Wild coming away lead jammer in black for Carolina. It's a trap jamming, taking the star off, passing it off.
And looks like that pass went to Kid from Race City, who star in hand is now through the pack on his initial.
Black and Wild giving the hand signal to his blockers, hits the pack on that second scoring pass and calls it off. I think I'm seeing 3 from our jam ref. Total of 7 that jam. Still close, 9 points.
Yeah, very back and forth this morning. Both our teams have done a great job so far of having their blockers really just locking things down. As I say that, we've got a pretty fast-moving pack here at the start. Razor with the star for Race City, trying to peel him off at the front. Yeti, though, jamming for Carolina is going to be your lead jammer.
Looked like it was going to be all Razor getting lead jammer, but Yeti found that way through, and that Carolina defense holding Razor back. Carolina losing their blocker, or their pivot. Razor out of the initial. Carolina picks up 4, calls it off. Shout out to chat. Thanks for the compliment. Glad the audio's sounding good today.
All right, so now we've got Floppy Joe jamming for Race City, who will be declared lead jammer. Brickyard, meanwhile, jamming for the Wrecking Balls. Still working on her initial pass. And Floppy is through for 4 points. Brickyard, meanwhile, forced to reset back into turn 1, star in hand.
Looked like Brickyard considered just going ahead, trying a no pass, no penalty. Thought better of it and recycle behind the pack. Floppy Joe in his second scoring pass now. Multiplayer on the far straightaway. Floppy with that second pass now. Brickyard getting soul crushed back there. Grimace doing that soul crushing and gets a penalty and headed to the box. 2 Race City blockers in the box. Brickyard passing that star off. Show you mouth. Going to be jamming now for Carolina.
So with that box filling up, it looks like Floppy is going to try to run this jam long, see if they can get a little more blockers on the track. However, they are going to call that jam.
Floppy hits the pack one more time. One final pass, total of 3 for a 12-4 advantage. And we are within 5 once again. 16-18 to go. Team timeout for Carolina.
And looks like that will be a Toy Division team timeout. Toy Division is a locally owned St. Louis company that sells new and vintage, but mostly vintage toys, here for all your nostalgia needs. You can check them out on Facebook, you can check them out on Instagram, or at toydivisionsTL.com. Keep an eye on their socials. They're doing pop-ups and booths all over town every month. And with just over 16 minutes left in the half, looks like our score sitting 42 Carolina, 37 Race City. This score update was brought to you by Duff Beer. Can't get enough of that Duff.
And we shift from our team timeout to an official timeout. Anybody tuning in? Give you a score update from the last game. Austin Anarchy taking the win for game 1 against Toronto, 280 to 188. Coming up after this game is the Beekeepers and Toronto Mixed Roller Derby.
So we are starting this jam with a 3-2 pack advantage in favor of Carolina. Both of our teams docking hard on that Derby Beast jammer line. And we've got Black and Wild jamming for Carolina, and they will take lead jammer. Meanwhile, that looks like that is a penalty for Shaggy. So this will be a power jam.
Three-point pass there as one of the Race City blockers went out of play. Black and Wild didn't pass them legally. No pass, no penalty, though. Now, 4-point pass. Third pass now. And then Shaggy's penalty time's over. Rejoin the pack.
And Shaggy back in star in hand is out on their initial pass. Some good quick thinking there by Black and Mild. Calls the jam, so that will freeze Grimace from Race City in the box. And that was a 14-point jam for the Carolina Wrecking Balls.
Another team timeout for Race City, I'm assuming.
As this is another Toy Division team timeout, I will just let everyone know if you've got a bin full of toys sitting in your parents' basement gathering dust, need a little cash message, Toy Division. We do pay cash for toys. Anything from the 80s to the 90s to the early 2000s. All that old Star Wars gear, all those old Transformers, My Little Ponies, Barbies. Hit us up. We've got you covered. That's Toy Division. Full disclosure, that is the company owned by myself and Otter Nonsense of the St. Louis Beekeepers.
All right, 60-second team timeout is up. We'll get our skaters back on the track. See, I think I saw Yeti in black on the jam line. and Blint for Race City. Both jammers check back to turn 4. Blint goes to the outside, comes away lead.
Oh, looks like that was a star pass now on the Carolina side, so your new jammer will be T-Puff.
Oh, Blint with the footwork, shrugging that off, taking the 4 and calling it off. That takes Race City back within 15, 14 on the clock for our first half.
With just under 14 minutes left in this half, this is still anybody's game. We've got a 15-point differential.
Only essentially a quarter way through. Here comes Brickyard. And Razor coming away first out of turn 1, lead jammer. Brickyard about 30 feet behind. Razor hits the pack, hits the 4 and calls it off. 4-0. 11-point game now, 13:05. Pack spread out between the Top Sports pivot line and the Derby Beast jammer line. I guess they're all up on the pivot line now. They're sneaky. I was checking my notes. Black and Wild jamming for Carolina. Floppy Joe for Race City. Race.
Ooh, nice little apex hop there by Floppy Joe to take lead. Black and Wild, however, hot on his heels.
Back sets up on the far straightaway. Here comes Floppy Joe. Cuts the outside. Black and Wild's taking the inside lane.
Ugh.
Let's see, 4 for green, 1 for black. Yeah, 1 for black. 1
Nice.
Carolina, 4 Race City. 8-point game.
Really nice work there by Black and Mild, just putting on the gas, grabbing that one little sneaky point.
Pack skates ahead to the pivot line. We got Blint in green, Yeti in black. Blint cuts the outside. One blocker gets passed and breaks through, lead jammer. Yeti holding the star, making Race City look for it, gets checked out, then the far apex. Blint tries to cut the inside of turn 2, gets checked out, recycles turn 1. Yeti working the outside of turn 2. And Blint comes away on the first scoring pass. Show your mouth jamming. Scoring pass. But Blint hits the pack, picks up the 4 and calls it off. And we have a tie game with 11 minutes to go in the first half. 57 apiece.
Looks like we've got our full pack hanging out on the top pivot line at the start of this jam. Brickyard jamming against Razor.
Nice assist, clearing a path for Razor to take lead. But got caught on the forearms there. Razor able to get that lead jammer status and off to the races on a scoring pass. Gets hips pass, picks up 2, and Brickyard coming away with 1.
And looks like Race will be starting this jam blocker down. That's pivot Doc Flatliner in the box, I believe.
Score update, it looks like it was 2 apiece. So we still have a tie game.
Heck yeah.
Black and Wild and black, Floppy Joe and green. I think Race City's down a blocker.
Ooh, Black and Wild forced to draw back there to the outside line, and your lead jammer will be Floppy Joe.
Yeah, that initial check on Black and Wild, I think, was Shaggy there.
Floppy makes it to the front of that pack, just positively racing, grabs 4 points, and calls off that jam.
And that'll give them the lead now. Race City up by 4, 63-59.
That is a heckin' lead change.
We just took past the 9-minute mark.
So we've got Blint jamming against T-Puff of Carolina, who will be lead jammer. I believe this is their first jam starting with a star. Blint now out on their initial pass. We've got a little bit of a pileup in turn 1. Somebody is going to the box for that.
Blint being recycled, and it looks like Carolina picking up a final 3 as they call it. Our refs quick to get together to talk about something, and official review for Race City.
And that will be an Urban Apothecary official review. You can pick up Urban Apothecary products this weekend at the A Prince massage booth. A Prince has your hookup for skater-made wellness products from Urban Apothecary. They've got gummies meant for focus, rest, and sleep. They've got topical pain relievers, and they've also got bath soaks. Get your pre- and post-game care that your body needs. Also for our friends today, at the venue, we've got Griever, a local tattoo artist. So they are located up on the balcony by the check-in spot. First come, first serve for sign-ups. And you can check out their flash sheet on the GK social media or event page.
And while we're having an official review, let's officially review our officials. Thank them. Adam Splitter, Johnny Demonic, Bread Pool, Doesn't Matter, Gym Class Hero, MC Ninja, Ninja Sassum, Redbeard, Wolverine, Dexter, Bon Appetit, Flintlock, Ria Culpa, Cupcake, Thriller, Arya Snark. I love derby names.
I love derby names so much.
Yesterday, I announced Carolina, and I think it took me a good half hour to realize Brickyard's number was 400, and that was the pun.
Yeah.
I love it when the number's tied in. Clever.
Brickyard, who actually skated for St. Louis once upon a time. Said Brickyard, who actually skated for arch rival from St. Louis once upon a time.
Oh, my goodness. Look at the trivia.
Oh, my goodness.
Some Arch fans in the house? What?
What? Speaking of which, I believe Arch Rival does have a merch booth here at the venue this weekend, so check them out. Show your local roller derby team some love. All right, looks like Race City was requesting an illegal contact penalty. All right, so it sounds like Race City was calling for an illegal contact penalty on the Carolina Jammer for blocking a down skater. That was upheld, so their review will be retained, and the Carolina Jammer will be starting in the box. However, it sounds like a penalty was also assessed to the Race City Jammer.
Illegal procedure, I think it was, and we now have another official review by Race City.
Not unexpected, but very interesting.
That was a lot to dissect. A shout out to our officials and our non-skating officials.
Officiating is so difficult, and it's so many moving parts, and we cannot say thank you enough to our officials for helping make everything here work. I'd also like to give a shout out while we've got a little bit of time to our photographers this weekend. So far, I've seen we've had Mr. McWheely and Shutter Speed volunteering this weekend, taking pictures of our teams and just generally making us all look fly as heck. Thank you so much to all of our volunteers, including our photographers. All right, so sounds like that call did stand on the Race City Jammer. It was an illegal positioning call for skating out of bounds. But now we do have both jammers out of the box. Blint with lead jammer for Race City going up against T-Puff.
Nice move by Blint, just pushing those hips forward and calling it off with Carolina rolling up right in the pack there. Picking up 3 for Race City. Keeping that lead by 4 now. Looks like we got Brick on the jam line, Brickyard. And I'm not the only one that missed our green. Razor is in green. Brickyard out first, lead jammer. Pack just now getting past the pivot line. Razor with 2 blockers to get past in this initial. Stretching out, gets past. Brickyard scoring pass. Gets the points and calls it off as Carolina loses one of their blockers. Old Dirty Packer.
So we are back to a tied game, my friends. 66 to 66, just over 6 minutes left in the half.
With 16 to go.
The most devilish of scores.
Floppy Joe finds an outside lane. Whoa, out of play, so gonna roll on. Lead jammer. Black and Wild's in the pack, trying to get out. An initial. Gets caught on the track cut. Gonna have a power jam for Race City. Pack sets up right before turn 4, or turn 3.
Really good timing for Race here, especially with Carolina being blocker down on that first scoring pass.
Floppy Joe working that outside lane of the turns. Coming away with 4. Second scoring pass now, starting the third.
Floppy going for a little shirt whip, but is dragged back into turn 2 by Carolina.
Floppy Joe's got 2 scoring passes on the third. Black and Wild's out of the pack, or out of the box, and out of the pack on the initial pass. Black and Wild rolling up on the pack, and they call it off. Looks like 2 final points signal for Race City. Look at an official review by Carolina now. One of those Urban Apothecary official reviews.
And that's Urban Apothecary, brought to you by A Prince Massage. Go ahead and check out their booth this weekend. They're offering massage sessions and walk-up services, including leg compression space pants, so fancy, cold and heat therapy, hydration, and wellness products from who else but Urban Apothecary.
Quick check on the Diana Slamma Whole Donuts and Donut Holes scoreboard. We've got 2 pairs, 77 for Race City, 66 for Carolina. That 11-point jam, last jam, is the lead. 4:40 on the clock. And we are still under official review.
It's been a really fun game to watch so far. Lots of intensity. I was on Carolina.
So for the official review, I believe the jammer was assessed a cut track. They tried to overturn it, saying the jammer had not, but the overturn, the jammer had not seeded enough. Yeti lead jammer for Carolina, Blint jamming for Race City.
To quote the official RDFN, who is also doing a great work here this weekend, seed harder.
Doc Flatliner having taken the star for Race City as jam ends. Carolina picking up 3. Now an 8-point lead for Race City. .345 in their first half, a whole another second half to go, and 3 more games today. Pack lining up on the pivot line. That Top Sports pivot line. We got Brickyard in black, Razor in green. Razor coming out first on the outside, lead jammer. Packs out to the races, getting their positions. Razor hits the pack. Brickyard hits the pack. Looks like Brickyard coming away with 2 and 3 for Race City.
Really nice work there by Brickyard, putting on the gas, grabbing those extra 2 little sneaky points.
Go till you hear that last whistle. And shooting a game this close, every point's worth it. 9-point difference right now.
We've got Floppy Joe jamming against Black and Mild now. Both these jammers having a great game today so far.
Floppy Joe finds an inside lane, comes away. Going to be lead jammer. Race City almost catches Black and Wild, checked out of bounds, but he holds on. As does Floppy Joe with that 1-foot glide on the outside turn. 4-0 advantage Race City. Tiffy Twisters in the chat cheering for Race City today. I guess we got a couple Demolition City friends tuning in. Jam 24 underway. And Blint coming away first, lead jammer, Yeti in black. Yeti checked out, going to recycle behind the blockers. Blint in the pack on the scoring pass. Carolina has to catch back up to the pack. Blint finds an inside lane of turn one. Picks up the 4 and calls it off. Extending that lead 88-71. Last minute on the game clock.
Ooh, and looks like we will be starting this one with a 4-3 pack advantage in favor of Race City.
Razor out first to the outside lane. Lead jammer. Brickyard getting checked back to the jam line. Razor in the pack. One blocking a pass. Shrugs it off. Picks up 4. Cambo looking for a big check there, but comes back in to try to give assist. Set back up for Razor to hit the pack again. Razor through. Another 4 points. Brickyard checked out of the inside, brought back to turn 2. Game time's out. We are 11-11 on jam time, or 1-11.
Looks like that is a star pass to Shut Your Mouth. So Razor will call off that jam to end the first half.
And you can just see it on Shut Your Mouth's face, trying to put the star on right when the whistle's being called. And that is intermission, ladies and gentlemen. Quick update on that score, that 12-point jam. That takes Race City to the century mark, a flat even 100 to Carolina's 71. Welcome back to the action. We are about to start that second half. Like I said, with that whistle, we are starting that second half. Our packs lined up on the Derby Beast Jammer line. Penalty box. CVM Sports penalty box is cleared out. And we are underway. Yeti in black, Blint in green, your jammers for jam number 1 of the second half. Looks like a track cut on Yeti there. Blint check back to turn 4. And on the power jam, and now getting that lead jammer out on the outside of turn 1.
Race City trying to crash that Carolina wall for Blint. However, Blint does get drawn back about 20 feet.
Blint cuts to the outside, dodges that last check, picking up the 4. And Yeti's penalty time is over, is in the pack. Quickly getting that star on to try to get a point, but not hitting the pack fast enough. Let's see, looks like 3 points for Blint on that final pass, so a total 7. See, I think I see Black and Wild, and can't tell who's in green jammer. Floppy Joe. Floppy Joe brought back to turn 3.
Ooh. Oh, Black and Mild going for that really tight burst forward on the inside line, but does pick up a track cut, so lead jammer goes to Floppy Joe. Nice offense there by Indy, just crashing into the Carolina wall, trying to clear a path for Floppy.
Race City anchoring the pack now, forcing Carolina to bridge out. Carolina losing one of their blockers. Floppy Joe cuts to the outs, gets low and cuts to the outside of turn 3. Now working them toe stops against Carolina's defense. Black and Wild's penalty time is over in the pack now. And picks up another track cut. Headed back to the CVM Sports penalty box. Meanwhile, Floppy Joe going to keep this power jam going. Back stationary on the far side. Looks like 2 final points as Floppy Joe called it off. Total of 14.
And that call-off will freeze Black and Wild in the penalty box, so we're going to have a power start now for Indy. Race City, 1 blocker in the box. Carolina, jammer down.
Razor goes for the outside, gets checked out, going to recycle way back to the jam line practically. He gets reset and goes to work.
Razor fighting it out on the front, but does manage to stay in bounds, peeling off those Carolina blockers.
The one time the toe stop went out, they were already behind the blocker that checked him out. And through the pack. Having lead jammer Stennis earlier, but getting out of the pack there completely on that initial pass. Black and Wild's through the inside. Initial pass done. Razor getting instructions to call the jam off from the bench. Does so with 1 final point, ticking up to 122.
If you are lucky enough to be hanging out at Queenie Park this weekend, remember we've got both a 50-50 raffle and a silent auction. I believe one of the prizes at the silent auction is a year's supply of pancakes. What? The results of that silent auction and that 50-50 will be announced after the last game tonight.
Blitz out of the pack first, coming away lead jammer. Brickyard jamming for Carolina. And Blint in the pack on the scoring pass. Getting pinballed around in the pack there, but breaks out of the outside, coming away with 4. Carolina stalling the pack at turn 2. Blint toe stop hops on the outside lane. Breaks out of the pack. Was about to call it off, decided not. This will be a 3rd scoring pass.
And Blint dragged back on the outside straightaway, but looks like they are going to run this jam, try to clear the box for Race City.
Brickyard almost had a runaway, but gets checked and swallowed back. No pass, no penalty. Apparently Race City's blocker was out of play.
And with that penalty box cleared, Blink goes ahead and calls off the jam.
And Brickyard with that hard-fought 4. Race City coming away with 11 that jam. as we line up for jam number 5. Pack lined up on the Derby Beast Jammer line, full strength. Yeti in black, Floppy Joe in green. Twenty seconds, we're just now getting the Top Sports pivot line, but now we're recycling behind the Jammer line now.
Both our blocking contingents really locking it down, forcing those big drawbacks on both our jammers.
Looked like a directional called on our Race City blocker in the box. Yeti checked out, going to recycle behind. Same for Floppy Joe. We're all the way back to turn 4. And here comes Floppy Joe on the outside, lead jammer. Carolina gotten too far back and couldn't catch him on the track cut.
Oh, and looks like that is a penalty called on T-Puff, who had completed that star pass. So this would be a power jam now for Race City. Big apex jump now for Floppy, 4 more points.
Nice anticipation by Floppy Joe, avoiding that check completely. Skating ahead with another scoring pass of 4. T-Puff's penalty time is over. Wow.
That was cool.
I'm going to look at the stream delay on that.
Big apex jump by Floppy Joe, grabbing that last point with 1 second on the jam clock. They call off that jam. So that is going to be 16 points on that jam going to Race City Rebels. Score now is 149 Race, 75 Carolina Wrecking Balls, just over 20 minutes left in the game. We've got Black and Wild now jamming against Razor. Black and Wild really putting on the gas at the top of the pack. Peels off the race, blocking for lead jammer. Razor, star in hand, is out on their initial.
Black and Wild takes the outside of turn 1 and 2, cuts to the inside of the far straightaway. He gets instructions to call it off from the bench and does so. Looks like Black and Wild able to come away with 4 of that jam, taking the Carolina to 79, 19:50 on the clock. We got Gnomish McGnome cheering for Loki and Prim today. Shout out to our YouTube chat. Full strength pack on the jam line to start off. Brickyard checked out, run back to turn 4. Same for Blint. Blint checked to the outside and brought back. Blint also going back to turn 4 as well on the outside. Big check on the inside there.
Blint and Brickyard both just absolutely fearless going for those sidelines. However, our blockers have been very good at shutting those lines down today. Blint, however, does find some daylight on the end, so they will be taking lead jammer.
Took us 45 seconds to get our lead jammer, so only a minute 15 to score points.
Ooh.
Carolina having lost their pivot. breaks through, picking up 4, takes a look across track, sees Brickyard, going to go ahead and call it off. Looks like 4-0 advantage, Race City that jam. Fly that flag, Gnome. It's a trap, jamming for Race City, T-Puff for Carolina. And it's a trap, finds an outside lane, coming away lead. We've got a directional called on Carolina blocker. Show your mouth. Brick's penalty time ends, rejoins. And T-Puff is about to roll up on the pack. Race City calls it off with 4.
So Race will have a 4-3 pack advantage on this start, but looks like that is going to be a Toy Division team timeout called by the Carolina Wrecking Balls.
Of course, that is a Toy Division timeout. Toy Division is an all-inclusive store and community for anyone who loves toys, video games, collectibles, and everything in between. Make sure you follow Toy Division on Instagram to find out their next show appearance. Link in the iHod linktree/IHOD. And, of course, they're active on social media, I've heard, so you can find them easily, I'm sure, anywhere. Your favorite billionaire's platform.
All right, so now we've got Floppy Joe for Race City jamming against Black and Wild for Carolina.
And Race City's pivot gets called on a track cut. Lots of thuds on the track. Look at that speed skating form. Black and Wild comes away with 2. Floppy not picking up any this time. Or excuse me, 3 for Black and Wild.
Yeah, Floppy goes for that apex jump, but that was some good play there by Carolina, taking the top, making it as hard as they can for them to score any points. So our score now, 157, Race City, 82, Carolina. About 16 minutes left in our game. We've got T-Puff jamming against Razor.
Looked like Razor was checked out of bounds off the whistle. We've got a forearms right in front of us here on Doc Flatliner out of the box. T-Puff is lead jammer for Carolina. Razor still working the initial pass. Check back to turn 2. Yeti bringing them all the way back.
T-Puff going for that bean dip on the outside. Manages to duck underneath Diamond. And a nice little clear on the inside as well by Yeti. And that is going to be a star pass to Diamond.
Diamond on the power jam here.
So Diamond cuts that line real close on the outside. Just manages to squeak by with a track cut. I don't know if they heard that penalty call, however, so they were assessed a second penalty.
Yeah, I saw that hand signal too, and our refs kind of giving a hand signal to each other. We'll get that worked out here as soon as we can.
So now we've got T-Puff back on the track in a power jam for the Carolina Wrecking Balls.
Looks like Diamond only getting one penalty. She's standing now in the box. One hand out, the rest of the body in. T-Puff is away without that track cut. Diamond coming away with 3 there to wrap that jam up. Team timeout for Race City.
That will be a toy division team timeout. So it turns out when you run a vintage toy store, you find yourself sometimes spending your time on a Friday night looking up techniques on the ponypreservationproject.com, which is why you can get all of the most beautiful My Little Ponies from your childhood from the good folks at Toy Division.
Over in YouTube chat, we got All Meat No Taters saying Brick is a menace.
That's accurate. Score now, 13:38 left on the clock, 160 race, 90 Carolina. The score update brought to you by Blammo, the makers of Log. It's big, it's heavy, it's Log.
60-second team timeouts up. We got 2 Carolina blockers in the box and 1 Race City blocker standing. Brickyard and Blint jamming. Brickyard in black, Blint in green, and Blint going to be out first, lead jammer. Brickyard works their way through on that initial pass. Blint picking up 4. Both jammers on a scoring pass now.
I'm not sure if Blint's trying to burn some time off the game clock, perhaps. But they are going to run this jam.
That and having faith in your defenders. They've done a good job of stalking Carolina this second half. Outside lane, picks up the 4 points, calls it off. Brickyard coming away with 4. Race City coming away with a total of 12. Blinton jamming that jam. A Black and Wild and black on the jam line. I think I see Floppy Joe, but I'm not certain. And Race City's pivot in the box to start off. Now it's a trap is on the jam line. Black and Wild working ahead, finds an outside lane. A multiplayer block. On one of the Race City blockers. Huge jump by Black and Wild and calls it off. Landing it, picking up the 4 and calling it off. 4-0 advantage. .11:35 on game clock. Pack sway back there in the Derby Beast jammer line to start off jam number 13. T-Puff out first. We've got a forearms in the pack signal. Race City losing their pivot. T-Puff on the scoring pass at the front of the pack. Cycling back behind, keep it clean. Team 12 trying to force his way up the inside lane, gets checked back, going to be brought back. Looks like to turn 3.
Diamond doing a great job locking down that inside lane with only 2 race blockers on the track.
Floppy Joe breaks down an initial pass. T-Puff breaks through, finally picking up that 4 points. And that crosses Carolina past the century mark. 0 points signaled that pass. Carolina coming away with a 4-0 score that jam, taking them to 102 to Race City's 172, 10:22 to go. Brickyard on the jam line. Race City blockers up on the top sports pivot line. And we have an official timeout.
Sounds like we've got some blood on the track, so, or maybe not. Whichever way, our officials doing a great job of making sure that all safety procedures are being followed.
Brickyard jamming for Carolina, and a Razor for Race City, and Razor coming away first, Lee Jammer. Pack sets up at turn 1. Razor cuts the outside to the inside, picks up the 4 and calls it off. There was a spot there yesterday. Now I'm starting to wonder if maybe it's paint that's tricking people on that spot.
It's a white sport court. It could be. All right, so Carolina will be starting blocker down for this jam. And as we dock back to the Derby Beast jammer line, we've got Blint jamming against Black and Wild. Lee Jammer going to Blint.
And starting off the jam, Carolina down a blocker. Penalty time ended, back to full strength in the pack. Black and Wild check back to turn 4.
Nice work there by Blint on the inside of turn 1. Tiptoeing through for 4 points.
With the Rowdy going down, Black and Wild can go on, but Blint's going to pick up another 4 and call it off.
Looks like the CVM penalty box will be cleared for the start of this jam.
Official timeout.
We may have another tiny biohazard on the white sport court. Thank you to all of the medics and volunteers this weekend. We couldn't do it without you. With just over 8 minutes left in the game, score now is 184 Race City Rebels, 102 Carolina Wrecking Balls. This score update brought to you by Nerve. Get in the damn robot, Shinji. I'm hilarious.
I was thinking when I was going to do Rick Cross. You have to get the live, just not the track.
Do it. Give blood, just not you. We don't have a blood drive.
Looks like our clean spot's also a slick spot.
When you are on wheels, water is its own kind of hazard.
For those tuning in on the stream, we are drying the wet spot with a fan, so give us a moment. Making sure no wheels slide on the slick spot, including our refs. Because, yeah, you guys are locked in the pack, so you guys can't see a thing.
Good call.
Jam 16 underway. It's a trap in green. T-Puff in black. T-Puff out first. Lead jammer for Carolina. High block on number 18 for Carolina.
Looks like that is Tora, a new one, headed to the penalty box. The CVM penalty box, that is. And Carolina calls off that jam, grabbing 3 points.
Is that the same Tora new one that's going to be announcing the last game of today?
Announcing the last game with yours truly, it sure is. Ooh. Oh. Love that guy. Fun fact, recently changed his name from Dr. Dreidel. Have I mentioned how much I love derby names?
Race City coming out first for lead jammer. Floppy Joe. Brickyard jamming for Carolina. Tora new one still in the box, so Carolina down a blocker. Nice hip check by Diamond there on Brickyard. Keeping them in the pack. Second scoring pass for Floppy Joe. And it looks like we've got a start pass to Carolina's pivot. Old Dirty Packer. Almost hangs on to it. Gets tripped up, falls inside out of bounds. Recycling back to turn 2. Floppy in the pack on a third scoring pass. Old Dirty Packer brought back to the middle of the far straightaway. Floppy Joe working the fourth scoring pass now. Nice deep to the outside.
Yeah, Carolina down 2 blockers. 30 seconds left in this jam, so Floppy's going to be looking to capitalize.
Floppy sneaks through, does the hip tap, gets the 4 and calls it off. Looks like 5 total scoring passes for Floppy Joe that jam. That takes Race City past the 2-century mark, 2:04 to Carolina's 1:05, 5:22 to go. And the scoreboard update brought to you by the Red Cross. Give the gift of life, just not to the track.
We've got Razor now jamming against Black and Wild. Black and Wild looking to play a little bit of defense on Razor. However, they're both now up in that scrum. Flatliner going for that big drawback.
Black and Wild checked back to the jam line by the pivot number 70. Razor got a 2 all up front tripod in here. Stretching him out. Finds an inside lane, gets away. Carolina come back to help Black and Wild now on the pivot line. We got a directional. We're going to lose a Carolina pivot. Black and Wild breaks out in the first pass. Razor through in the scoring pass. And that should be a 4-0 jam, I believe.
So starting off this next jam, we've got a blocker in green and a pivot in black hanging out in the CBM penalty box.
Four on four in the pack, lined up on the jam line, brought to you by Derby Beast. Looks like we're losing a blocker to forearms for Carolina. Blint check back to turn 4. Finds an open inside lane, just gives a little acceleration to get through. Cut to the outside and a bean tip, picking up those 4. T-Puff still working the initial pass, checked out on the inside of 2.
The bean dip's so nice, we tried it twice.
Blint starting that third, well, it's Blint finishing that third pass. And T-Puff is out now in a scoring pass. T-Puff rolling up on the pack. Blint's going to call it off. I know we got 3 scoring passes for Blint. I'm seeing 2 final points signaled for Blint and Race City. 14-0 that jam. Pack lined up at the Derby Beast jammer line. It's a trap off to the Race's lead jammer. Brickyard with 2 blockers to get past. 1 to get past. Very miss out of the box, I think, for a forearms. Jam called, 1 point for Race City.
So with Grimace starting in the box for Race, we've got Floppy Joe jamming against Black and Wild. Black and Wild finds that little bit of daylight on the outside, grabs lead jammer.
Floppy Joe doing the limbo stand and bounce, cuts the inside, getting that initial pass completed. Black and Wild on the scoring pass. Mixing up with True Block in the back. Floppy Joe hits the pack. Steals 1, forcing the call off, and official review? Yes, official review, Race City.
Interesting. All right. So that will be an Urban Apothecary official review. Urban Apothecary can help you with all of your pre- and post-game care that your body may need. They've got skater-made wellness products like gummies for focus, rest, and sleep, topical pain relievers and bath soaks, and they've got all of their products online at urbanapothecary.shop.
Also, don't forget about the 50-50 raffle happening. That's going to be pulled in the last game tonight. Silent auction happening as well. It's over there by the GK merch table. Year supply pancakes, Urban Apothecary goodie bag, a couple of those. STL style poster print merch, Rydell basket elements, candle basket, lots of goodies. Head back to the gatekeepers. Table to find that out.
We do have a push-up contest. Got skaters and NSOs participating.
I got a question. Can you give MVP awards to bench coaches?
Ray City was requesting a forearm on Black Jammer. The action did not materially aid Black Jammer's positioning. No call stands, not retained.
Ray City requested a forearms on the Black Jammer. It did not affect positioning, so therefore official review was denied.
So we've got T-Puff now is your lead jammer for Wrecking Balls. Razor, star in hand, jamming for Ray City. Fighting that drag back up in the apex. Ooh! And T-Puff kind of trips over a blocker, but there in the apex, does a little hop, grabs 4 points. And we've got a star pass to Flatliner.
And we are now on jam time. 1:15 for the game.
Oh, dang.
And Ray City is singing happy birthday from the bench.
So with T-Puff called off on a penalty, this last jam is going to go the full 2 minutes.
Doc pushes through, picks up a second 4, 8 apiece. Gets tripped up by the ghost blocker. "20 seconds on the clock. T-Puff, penalty time over. T-Puff breaks through, picking up 4. That's your unofficial. I don't know, that pose by Grimace there, that was award worthy.
That is a statement ending to that game.
If we could have all gatekeepers to the floor, get ready for a photo. Waiting for that ref whistle. All right, there's your unofficial score. Make some noise and give a high five for Ray City coming away with the win, 235.